Hey, and welcome back to Dan the Flavor Guy. Today, I'm going to teach you how to have sex in a pan. Why they call it this, I have no idea, except for maybe you're adding layer upon layer. Let's go ahead and get started. A few kitchen appliances you're going to need is a small food processor, an electric handheld whipping device, and a few bowls. Here we have a half a cup of pecans. You need to grind these up into a flour type texture. Next, we're going to add 1.5 cups of almond flour. Next up, you want to measure 1/3 cup of butter in a solid form. Then we're going to melt it down and add it to the almond and pecan flour. Now we're going to add the butter to the almond and pecan, mix it together and get it nice and sticky. Now we want to make sure that we spread this nice and even. We're going to bake this for 20 minutes at 400 degrees in the oven. Next is our cream cheese layer. We're going to start with 8 ounces of cream cheese. You want to take a fork or a spoon and you want to chop this up so it's got small chunks. Now we're going to add heavy cream. Once we had the heavy cream, here we're going to add 1/4 cup of a sugar substitute. This is for all the diabetic fans out there. Next is a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now we're going to grab our handheld mixing device and we're going to beat this. Once we start to knock this down, thicken it up, we want to turn it into a thick, creamy paste. This is when we're going to lay down that second layer. Here we wanted to make this thick, so when we spread it out evenly, the next layer won't penetrate too easily because of its thick consistency. Remember, here again, you want to lay this layer nice and even. Now we're going to whip up our third layer. We're going to start with 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. Once that's in the bowl, we're going to add 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. Here, you can use any brand you would like. Next is going to be our sugar substitute. Here, if you want to use regular sugar in any of these, feel free. Now we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now it's time to beat and whip this layer until it's nice and creamy. You'll know this layer's done when it starts to create waves, as you can see in the video right now. You don't want this layer too thick because you want it to melt in your mouth. As you can see, the longer you whip it, the thicker it gets and creates bigger waves. We're pretty much done for this layer now. Now we're going to lay down that third layer. Doesn't this look good? You want to make sure you take your time with this. When we lay it down, we're going to make it nice and smooth. We're going to spread this out nice and evenly. And now for the last layer. This is our whipped layer. We're adding 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. Follow that by 2 tablespoons of our sugar substitute and a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. We're going to grab our handheld mixing device and we're going to start whipping this up nice and smooth. You got to remember, this layer is going to be the light layer because it's the whipped layer. You can see it turned out nice and creamy. We're going to spread it evenly. We're going to take 1 ounce of sugar-free dark chocolate. We're going to shave it and we're going to sprinkle this magical dust on top of our whipped layer. Now this thing is done. Ooh. Doesn't this look good? Once the chocolate is sprinkled on evenly, we're going to let this set in the refrigerator for 30 minutes before serving. While I still have you here, if you could smack that subscribe button, lick the like button, turn on that bell notification so you can get some more desserts coming your way. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video.